I'm a host on Airbnb. I was for about 7.5 years, and I actually received a guest that booked my place in October of this past year, and she arrived and she seemed to be quite fine. And then later that evening, she left. Didn't make any mention to me, and I share my place. It's a shared listing. Basically, it ended up being where she canceled, or she wanted to cancel because she felt that there was a video camera in my apartment. When she came back the next day, because she had left that night, didn't see anything. And when she came back and she told me this, I told her that there was no camera. And what she believed was a camera was this piece of art right here and this item. So that actually is just like a lid for a bottle of cologne, which I showed her and informed that to her. And the reason why I have it was because my mom passed away in October of 2 years ago, and I wasn't able to go to the funeral. So she had bought me that as a gift. So I put that on the piece of artwork just as a way for me to be able to mourn and to kind of have like something that I could like look at and think of her. I had no idea that some video cameras could look apparently like that, particular shape. And when she disclosed this to me, and I looked at it from that perspective, I said, I can understand maybe the resemblance that it might be a camera, but I'm telling you it's not. I said I would never jeopardize my ability to host and to make my guests feel uncomfortable. I said I had never looked at it from that perspective before. I said, so thank you for letting me know that, because I was not aware that it could be mistaken for one. I assure you it's not. And because you've now informed me of this, and I now know, it's like I'm going to move it to my room, so there's not going to be any future confusion for future guests. But at the same time, because she left without any notification, and the night that she left, she sent me the reason that she wanted to leave was because she felt the bathroom wasn't private, which it wasn't. But she knew this going into it because she asked her the question, which led me to feel like I don't think she read my listing properly. I felt that she just kind of jumped into the confirmation without really fully realizing that it was a shared listing and that I only had the one bathroom. So I disclosed this to her all prior to her arriving about a week before. And because I felt strongly that she might have booked an air, I wanted to give her an opportunity to correct that if that was the case. And I said, if you cancel timely, I'll be able to give you a full refund, because that still would have given me a full week to find another guest. She didn't read the message. And I think when she arrived, she may have only seen it after the fact and read it when she got here, took it out of context, and then decided to leave without notifying me to tell her otherwise that she was on the hook for the cancellation policy. So it was just a lot of miscommunication and misunderstanding. But then she took it further, because after I disclosed her that it was a clone bottle, she started uttering threats to me that she was going to report me. I said, what are you going to report me for? I haven't done anything wrong. And she's like, it's an illegal camera at the camera. At this point, she was on the hook for the cancellation policy. And because she had put all her eggs in this, one lie, I felt she was trying to sell it to me, trying to gaslight me. So she leaves. I was really kind of riled up about it, because I've never had a guest treat me that with so much disrespect in my apartment. And a week later, I get a notification from Airbnb that they're putting me under investigation. So I was alarmed, but I wasn't really too surprised, because she had told me she was going to report me to Airbnb and the authorities. So I was trying to call Airbnb, but there was no way for me to contact them. Airbnb at the time was my principal means of income, so to be suspended was kind of like it felt like an unnecessary punishment, because I hadn't done anything wrong, and I could clear my name up with a simple conversation if they could contact me, or I could deal with it very quickly and to avoid myself a lot of the stresses of waiting for the results. Well, there was no way to contact them, which really upset me. So they subjected me to 3 weeks of silence. And the only means I had to communicate with them was just little chat box in their on their website that they gave me. And I felt like nobody was reading it, because I would put my responses and I would just get an automated reply. 3 weeks later, they were supposed to schedule me for a call much like this. Nobody called. Instead, they issued their finding that I was guilty of doing whatever it was that they alleged that they alleged I had done, which I believe stemmed from the report that she said at a camera. And they never even spoke to me once. So it was how can Airbnb say that they protect the interests of their hosts and their guests in safety and security when they don't even follow through by doing the simple thing of calling or investigating and just taking the one side of the story for being the truth? But the truth of the fact is, the lady who made the report knew there was no threat, because I showed her, just as I showed you, that it's just a cologne bottle, but she refused to want to believe it because she had left without giving me notice. She left or put the blame on the bathroom, and she was just kind of like realizing that she was like dug a hole where if she had only read my message, canceled appropriately, I could have refunded her in full and avoided her even coming to my apartment. So I was just really disappointed that Airbnb would, like, as a host with good standing, lots of reviews, would treat me with such disrespect and just like throw me to the side of the garbage, and with no recourse of even speaking to me. I was like, how can you say that you host, that you're protecting me, if you're not giving me a chance to speak to the matter? In a nutshell, to make them more succinctly, a guest believed I had a camera. I didn't. I disclosed that to her. And because she had lied about the reasons and she was already trying to, like, get out of the cancellation policy, she decided that she was going to get revenge on me by calling Airbnb and making a retaliatory allegation stating I had a camera, knowing full well that I didn't. And then Airbnb failed to investigate, and I got banned for life as a consequence as a result. So my issue is with the fact that Airbnb didn't upheld their responsibility to properly investigate an allegation that was made against me that jeopardized my safety and security by doing nothing, thinking that they were recognizing her safety and security and believing her without doing the investigation. Well, I think it's important. I mean, safety and security is like a paramount of Airbnb's platform. And when guests are entrusting themselves to go into a stranger's home who they don't know, they need to be ensured that their safety and security is going to be protected. And the same thing for hosts. And Airbnb touts this. This flies in the face of Airbnb being able to actually say this and stand by it as being true. Because while they took her allegation seriously, as they should, and again, when she disclosed the fact that she felt that there was a camera, even if she was wrong, they have a right to ask. And I have an obligation to tell them honestly, and I did. She refused to believe it because she was now on the hook for a cancellation policy that she was already on the hook for prior to this because she had booked it last minute. Airbnb needs to stand up and actually do what they say they do. If you're going to tell me that you protect both hosts and the guests, you need to actually do that. You can't just take an allegation from one side and believe into it without giving me the proper respect to speak to me and allow me to counter that and tell my side of the story, because it's my livelihood on the line that they've taken away from me, and I now have no means of hosting ever in the future, and that's not fair to me because I was a great host. I treated my guests with the utmost respect, to which Airbnb hasn't given me like an iota, even like an iota. Like it's just ridiculous. And then when I called them, I said, I put my trust in you guys to do an investigation that you failed to do, and that you won't even let me speak to the answers. I said, I was thinking of actually calling the police on this woman because she did utter threats to me, which is against the law. It's a crime. I said, I didn't do that because my trust was that you guys would do your job properly. Now that you've done it, you're protecting her, and you won't even disclose to me her last name so I can actually file a report that I should have done from the get-go. And they said to me, well, because we have to protect our guests and our hosts' safety. I said, well, where was that for me? How did this protect my safety? Because I'm banned for life. She committed a criminal offense, lied about it knowingly, and you guys failed to tell the difference between a cologne bottle and a security camera, and I'm suspended for life with the allegation like I'm some kind of like peeping Tom and would do something so disgusting that I never would have done. Like, you're disrespecting my mom. Like, it's like my mother's memory that I put into that like piece of art. And I had just got back from my hometown in Walkerton 2 years to the date that she had died, just like a day or two prior to this booking being made. So like being able to see my mom's grave for the first time, and then to have like somebody come to my apartment and disrespect the one thing that I had put up in honor of her was just like, it was just hurtful. And it was just disgusting that this is the result of what happened. And Airbnb should feel embarrassed, and they should apologize, and they should correct this and make it right, because I've suffered unneedlessly for 6 months without being able to host, and I'm facing like a lifetime ban, all because of their disrespect to fail to live up to their commitment of keeping my safety and security while listening to a guest who knew full well what she was doing was wrong and did it anyways because she was on the hook for a cancellation policy for a booking she never should have made because she wanted a private bathroom, and my listing doesn't have a private bathroom. And that's the only reason why I gave her the offer to cancel before she arrived, was to alleviate her from being on the hook for the money that she was ultimately going to have to pay, and to like give me the time to find a proper guest that would have read it. So they're basically allowing a guest to get away with like doing something she shouldn't have done to begin with, but then giving her the power to feel like she has the right to continue acting this behavior for future hosts. She needed to be taught how to use the system properly. That when she makes a confirmation, if she doesn't know what she wants, a pre-authorization would have been the way to do it, because then she could have asked the question, found out, and then follow through with the commitment. So they're not doing her any favors, and they certainly haven't done me any favors either. In fact, they failed their company's motto of like being able to say they care about the safety and security of their hosts and their guests, because they didn't show me any care or concern whatsoever. So that's my main concern, and why I think it should be out there, because people need to realize that they don't do what they say they do, and especially when it comes to serious matters. If there's one thing they have to take that they need to do, is to take that seriously, but not just the allegations. Investigate it seriously too, because people can do things that are retaliation, and you need to make sure that you're putting the blame on the proper person, and that people like me who are innocent, following the rules and the regulations, are not going to be thrown to the wayside like a piece of garbage because you guys are too lazy or too incompetent to tell the difference between a bottle of cologne and a security camera. They may look the same, they might be a resemblance, but just because there's a black circle doesn't mean it has the ability to record. And if they can't decipher that, then I don't think they can uphold the safety for security for anybody. And I think that's important that people out there know that. Well, the best resolution for this would be Airbnb getting back to basics, like they said they're going to focus on the summer, but that starts with respect. If you're going to get back to basics, start doing the things you say you do that you don't do right now as it stands, because you did not investigate that properly. You did not give me a chance to speak to the matter. You spoke for me. You spoke wrongly about me, and now you're punishing me severely for the lack of your work ethic and credibility. They need to apologize first and foremost, immediately, reverse the decision, start doing their jobs properly, because they failed me, and I'm sure there's many others out there who they failed as well. You guys have a big responsibility on your hands, and when we're putting that into you, and we sign up on our rights to like not be able to like fall through with litigation, we expect you to do that job. You put high expectations on us. I think it's fair for us to have high expectations on you to do the jobs justly that you're not doing to any credibility at the moment. So they need to apologize. They need to reverse the decision. They need to show in action how they're going to change it. And that means actually following through by not just saying words, because Airbnb is a company that's full of lip service and little action. More action, less lip service, an apology, and an immediate reversal will be a start.